That's the thing, man. Asmon prefers to play games and learn it at his own pace by himself. Well, it seems like that anyways, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Many players fall into that same category. It's Black Desert Online's job, it's Pearl Abyss's job to create and design a game where it's not necessary for a brand new player that's clueless coming into the game to require a guide. You know what I mean? That is a deficiency with Pearl Abyss's game design. That's not Asmon's fault. That's not the player base's fault. That's not the player's fault. That's an issue with the game. Look, I love this game, man. I'm a big fan of BDO. This has always been my favorite MMO outside of vanilla Arcade. Okay, I love this game, and I know how easy it is once you understand the stuff, and I know how amazing of an experience it is if you do have someone to guide you. But the truth of the matter is that that's not going to be the case for a lot of brand new players and a lot of just for a lot of brand new players. And when you have an opportunity to bring in a lot of brand new players like you have right now, you know, it kind of sucks that the game is lacking in that department, because there's going to be a lot of players that are turned off by this initial experience because it's overwhelming. It's just, you guys know what I mean. For those of you who played the game, you absolutely know when you watch Asmon or you watch some of these other players play for the first time, you 100% know that it's like you can see, okay, from their perspective, of course it's not going to be great, but that's not what it's really like if you kind of just know this, and this, right? Like, you know that. You feel that. You feel like, oh, you're like, I want to tell them. I want to help them. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that don't have the luxury of having a guide or don't even want to have a guide. So, you know, Pearl Abyss just has to do a better job designing the game better for those types of players. If you see me play a video game for the first time as a brand new player that knows nothing about the game, I'm the type of person that wants to be as efficient as possible, right? Like, I'm the type of person that will prefer my chat to backseat, you know, assuming that my chat actually knows what they're talking about. That's me. I want to try and be efficient. I want to try and min-max things. I want to learn the min-max ways. I want to know the convenience route, you know, but not every player is like that. So my new player experience or returning player experience is going to be vastly different to someone like Asmon, who wants to take his time and enjoy the game and play at his own pace, and doesn't really like the back, or doesn't prefer to have the backseating. Select backseating. He is playing it to give it a fair review without guides, and I think that's great. I actually very much prefer him to play it the way he's playing it right now, so that he can give a true new player's experience and review of the game. I think it's great. As much as I want him to say good things about BDO, as much as I want that for the game, he needs to be objective about it and also expose the game for its flaws. One of those flaws being the brand new player experience where it's just overwhelming. There's stupid, pointless quests showing up. There's no reason why Asmon should have gotten a Kill 85 Alter Imp quest, a repeatable Kill 85 Alter Imp quest at level 20 fucking 1 in Heidel. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason to have that quest even available. I don't know how he accepted it. I'm assuming he just spammed R, you know, which is what 90% of the players are going to do. And he automatically just picked up the next quest in line, because the way it works is you talk to an NPC that is the objective of your main quest, of your main campaign, and you just spam R, and you don't realize that you're actually accepting a side quest that NPC also has. So then the quest line sometimes redirects you to the side quest that you picked up. And I think that's what happened with Asmon's. I have no idea. I'm assuming that that's what happened. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's exactly what I mean. That's a perfect example of, in my opinion, not great game design. And you could sit there and be like, oh, just look at the UI, just read what you're accepting. You can say that all you want, but the fact of the matter is that 90% of the players are not going to do that. I mean, no matter how right you are in that regard, 90% of the players are just not going to do that. That's, you know what I mean? You're not going to change that fact. So if that's the case, you need to design it better. I mean, I wish I could, there's really nothing more I can elaborate on. The only thing I found really annoying as a completely new player and actually stopped playing after 3 to 4 hours is the item bloat, the inventory. That's another thing. That's another big one. At Assetos, that's another really big one. They need to get rid of worthless items, especially on the season. I really think that, because like some of the items you just can't get rid of. There's a lot of items, a lot of systems in the game, right? A lot of items do serve a purpose. There are a lot of stupid items that you can get rid of, but a lot of items do serve a purpose. For a seasoned character, for a seasonal experience, I think they could easily get rid of all that bloat. All of that bloat, man. Just get rid of everything. Catfish skills, get rid of that shit. That's not, like, who gives a fuck, you know, in all servers. But then some of the other items that may serve a purpose, just remove it from the season servers. One of the amazing things about BDO is that there are a lot of systems in place which allows this game to have depth. It has layers, and it gives you a better end game experience because of that, right? But like I said, it's a double-edged sword. Because of that very fact, there's a lot of bloat as well. I feel like this item is a great example, right? It's like, what the fuck is this? To be perfectly honest, I never used this before. This is a new item for me too, as a returning player. But if you look at it, crafting materials, drought, and magical elixir. I understand the value of this item and why it's in the game. What is it for? It's to create elixirs. What are elixirs? Elixirs are buffs. They're just like 15-minute buffs, 20-minute buffs that I can apply on my character. So if you think about it in that regard, oh, this game allows you to gain buffs that will allow you to grind or kill things faster, 15 to 20-minute intervals that reset when you die. Not bad. Okay, well, how do I make it? Well, here you go. Here's an elixir that you can use to craft it, right? Magical elixir that makes sure. Okay, so it extends it. Excuse me, whatever. Same thing. It's applied to elixirs, right? It has a purpose. But a brand new player that's looking at this, first of all, they're going to be like, well, what the fuck are elixirs? So, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not like the game is going to teach you what the elixirs are, and if it does, it's in text. They probably skipped it anyway. And the other thing is, when I look at this actual menu, this is a bit overwhelming. Okay, let's read this. A magical elixir with special powers that amplifies the effects of alchemy. Okay, crafting method, processing L, simple alchemy. Usage 1, event magical verdure drought. Crafting materials. I need 2 verdure droughts and 1 magical elixir. As a brand new player, I'm gonna have no idea how I get these items. For me, and the game doesn't tell you. Yeah, so for me, it's like I understand from the perspective of a seasoned player that looks at this and it's like, bro, it's actually simple. Look, it shows the crafting, the materials, and you get this item, the materials, you get this item, the materials, you get this. But that's also because we know what a beast drought is. You know what I mean? We know what a magical elixir does. But a brand new player is not going to know what this is. They're not going to know what a drought is. They're not going to know how to get a drought. And they're not going to even know what this item gives them. Okay, if that's the case for a couple items, it's fine. One of the issues is that there are a lot of these types of items. There are a lot of these types of items. WoW doesn't teach you. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying is like, it's difficult because if the more you learn about the game, the more you realize a lot of these quote unquote bloat items are actually important. They have a purpose to the game, right? But then you use Google. Everything you guys are saying, you're not wrong. It doesn't change the fact that when there are a lot of these types of items in the game and they're given to you early, it's overwhelming. You can call them lazy. You can say Google it. You can say whatever, right? But as a new player, when you're bombarded with a lot of these types of items, it becomes overwhelming. So what I'm saying is maybe for the seasons, you dumb it down and remove a lot of these items. Maybe just introduce a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get to the regular season, fuck it, bombard them there. Because if you're, well, maybe make it gradual, but ideally, but even if you can't, it's important not to overwhelm the initial experience is what I'm saying. You know, because if you get, because BDO is a great game. If you get them hooked and you don't let them get overwhelmed, you get them hooked in the beginning, because they're busy enough trying to figure out just how Tuvala gear works, right? Get them hooked, and then you overload them with systems at the end game. I think that's a very different experience compared to just out the middle, out the gate. You're getting fucking magical elixirs, you're getting sharps, you're getting processing shit, you're getting this, that, and then it's not just for gear. It's also for life. You got life skilling items, you got gear upgrade items, you got black spirit items, you got rifts, and you got this and that. It's so much, you know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying, right? I can't, as someone that knows and understands this game, I cannot say remove everything. That would be terrible for this game, right? Like, everything has a purpose, and it is pretty simple. But for a new player, you got to make it less overwhelming, is what I'm saying. That's where I'm coming from, boys.